Hello, everyone. My name is Bobby Martinez, and I'm excited to bring you the series of interviews with our local candidates running for Port Hueneme City Council. These interviews are an opportunity for you to get to know the candidates a little bit better and to hear directly from them about their plans, priorities, and visions for our city. Whether you're a new community or longtime resident, it's important to be informed about who's representing us and what they stand for. So today I'm sitting down with Lamont Hayes, who's running for a seat on the Port Hueneme City Council. Thank you for joining us today, Lamont.
Thank you, Bobby, for having me.
Before we dive into the questions, I just want to say that this is an open and safe space for us to have a conversation and for you to share your thoughts, your accomplishments, and any plans that you have with the residents. My goal here is to give voters a better understanding of who you are and what you plan to achieve if elected. And let's just go ahead and get started. So to begin with, can you share a little bit about your background and what inspired you to run for city council?
Hey, good evening. Thank you, Bobby, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. For 31 years, I worked in the city of Los Angeles. I started when I was 12 years old, working for the school district, and we did maybe 20 hours a work week at 12 years old. Being able to go in the community, began to paint, clean, began to work with the elementary schools, working with the high schools, and they were showing us how to be community servants. And as I started at 12 years old, it helped me to develop a sense of community. And at 12, we started working with other agencies in gang prevention. And my mother was a single mother growing up, very poor, and we lived in South Central and near East LA, the worst sides of the community. And there was not too many programs for youth and young adults. And so my mom had me in the DARE program. We were in the community programs, and it helped me. It molded me. And as I grew older, I began to work in the high schools, and I had a sense of wanting to work hard in the community. So I was working 4 and 5 jobs. Literally, people were like, how are you doing those things? Because I was excited. You know, there were programs where you can go for 2 hours to clean. There's a volunteer. And so that's what I did growing up from 12 years old. And then in 93, before I graduated high school, President Bill Clinton started the Summer Service Program. And for that summer, we all went up to the communities and began to help the older folks. And because of this, there was a great passion for elderly, because they couldn't do their gardening, they couldn't do their ironing, they couldn't do their painting. And so that's some of the things that we did. And we went up to Treasure Island in San Francisco and spent the week up there in Oakland, cleaning up and building and revitalizing the community. And as I came back, it still resonated within my heart to continue to do those things. And so I started programs. In 2001, I started the Show Me Love Incorporated. It was a community resource center. We was helping with adolescents, with teen abuse, with drugs. And then as I graduated college, I opened up a couple of other nonprofit organizations and began to thrive in the city of Inglewood. And then I became a pastor, and then I moved to Oxnard, Ventura in 2017 and became a pastor here in Oxnard area. And I started the Ventura County Resource Center, which was another organization that I saw that there was a great need for. As a pastor, I saw that some of my members were concerned about bullying, hate crimes, being targeted, being assaulted, and didn't have a place to go because there wasn't no youth programs at the time. And so there's nothing to do for them. And so I called an assembly of all the leaders and community advocates, and they came to my church and we talked about some of these problems that are arising here. And I didn't want Oxnard and Ventura County to turn like how it was for me growing up in South Central, gang infested. You couldn't enjoy the parks. You couldn't, and so I called them there. So Tom McCoy, Aguilera Ford, we had District Attorney's Office, we had Regina Crawford there. We had the people there to talk about these problems. And when I was talking with the residents, they said the same thing. We need help. We need some assistance. I said, well, this is what I do. Well, there's 2 seats coming up for city council, and since I'm a resident, you should apply. I said, well, I don't think I fit for city council. They said, you're already doing the work. You're already out there in the community, you're already working with the government agencies, and you have the ability to develop programs. These are things that we need here. We need programs, we need youth things. And so that was my heart, is to be in the community serving, as I started at 12 years old doing.
Nice. And over the past few years, what accomplishments are you most proud of?
Oh, those would be my nonprofit organizations and my church. I started the Greater Life Ministries Church in 2010, and it thrived all the way through the pandemic. And then I started pastoring here in Ventura County. As I saw the need growing, I started the other organization. And so for the last couple of years, I worked on the board for the New Directions 2, which is a prison reform organization, the Ventura County Resource Center. I got on board with the CAC, which is the Community Advocacy Coalition, which is the 99.3 KJBU radio station. So I am a radio personality. So I had a radio show on Monday nights and Sunday nights on the radio. So you can still catch me there on 99.3 KJBU. Those are some things, but the major thing that touched my heart and I'm excited about is the fact that we're housing the veterans. We're housing those who are homeless. And for the last year, we've housed 3 families. In the last 2 months, we've housed 3 veterans and that are homeless. I got a letter that was sent to me, that was forwarded to me from a veteran that was sleeping in his car for 2 years. And he was looking for help. And they asked, could I help? He has a place 3 days later after we got that letter. Because that is the heart of me, is to help the people. Veterans, those are the ones that are been fighting for our freedom and our right to be able to get into city councils and be presidents. And so those are my things I'm proud of.
Good. What are your top priorities for the city of Port Hueneme in the next few years, and how do you plan to achieve those goals?
One, I have the Economic Development Plan, which is my EDC. I doubted it, the EDC one, because it's an Economic Development Credit. We want to be able to help the community. Why is the businesses leaving? Why are the residents moving? Why are we not growing as a city in our economic part of our growth? Is because businesses are leaving because of the cost. It's too high, prices are going up, taxes are going up. And so working with the business owner and these shops owners to reduce the cost of how much you're charging for lease, how much you're charging for that monthly rent. If we can bring down the balloon, I look at it as a balloon. When you blow up the balloon so much, either you're gonna get a second balloon or you're gonna let the air out in order to keep it. And so most of these organizations and businesses want you to go get another loan out as a business owner. We're already struggling. So why don't you reduce your rates so we can start again? Let's revitalize, let's re-beautify Port Hueneme. And the only way to do that is let's work with the shop owners, business owners to reduce it, as well as begin to work with the city council and the city staff to reduce business licenses so people can go and apply for regular licenses. So they're no longer working and having bake sales at their house and doing barbershops out their garage. They can actually be a legitimate legal business only if we have the credit. And we can reduce some things to help them to be legitimate, which will bring more tax revenue, which will bring more businesses back to our community. That's my plan.
Nice. And what do you believe are the most pressing issues facing the city of Port Hueneme, and how would you address them if elected?
If elected, I'm doing it now. So whether I'm elected or if I'm not, I'm still going to help our community. And that's what I've been doing since I was 12. So one of the things is working with the young people. The young folks that we have, when they're out of school, they're not doing anything constructive. We want to get them busy, get them some programs for our young adults and youth. So in the summer of 2025, I'm reinstituting the summer service program that President Bill Clinton had to get those young people back to work. A lot of undocumented immigrants have no way of making income, but their children can. They're legal citizens as well as school age that they are able to work and receive funds. And so with that program, it would bring It will bring some resources as well as monetary supplement for a lot of the families that are in need right now. And I think that's one of the things that we need is more involvement with our young people. I want to work with the men folks that are not doing anything, and let's start the men's initiative, the Port Hueneme Men's Initiative, where you can get men to volunteer at least 2 hours on the weekend to go and vitalize and beautify some of the residents' homes that their grandchildren can't do, their husbands can't do. If we can get 100 men in our city to help us, then we can build an initiative and get the men to start going out. And I know it's possible because I've done it in LA. I'm bringing whatever I did to help in LA to beautify and give that here where it is needed.
What do you want voters to know about you that we haven't yet discussed?
Oh man, this it'd probably be my heart. I have a big heart, and knowing that I have not really shared my radio personality side, that working with the community on that side, as well as my heart, it really goes. I give so much of who I am that I really don't have time for myself, knowing that there's somebody else who's in need. And I rather sacrifice what I have to ensure that the others that are struggling are able, because I know since I was 12 that I can build up, I can go out there and get it done. There's some that can't. And so out of my heart, I give those things. I make sure to sacrifice. And if that's needed, then my heart goes out. So the things that people don't know is the quickest way to me is through my heart and to know that I care about my community.
Last question. Why should the residents of Port Hueneme trust you to represent them on the city council?
Well, one would be my background. 31 years of serving, 20 years with the city of Los Angeles as a civil servant. I am a public service servant as well. So for 20 years, I've been in the community. I service our vice president home in LA. I also service celebrity homes. We go into their property, help them with their things. And so I have a relationship with a lot of folks that people don't think I know. And so the relationship, bringing that here, helping with bringing resources, helping with those grants, helping with donations, because a lot of things that we need here in Port Hueneme can be granted to us. It can be given to us. And all they said is, I never knew the city needed it. I have a plethora of those things. I want to open up a youth center that is engaged with those, the teenagers, to train them how to get jobs, how to save, how to invest. And in order to do that, we need donated space. We need donated items.
All right. Well, thank you, Lamont, for taking the time to share your thoughts and vision with us today. It's been really insightful to hear more about your priorities and plans for the city of Port Hueneme. And to all of our viewers, I hope this interview has given you a clearer picture of where Lamont Hayes stands and how he aims to contribute to the future of our city. Remember, local elections are a great opportunity to have your voice heard, so I encourage everybody to stay informed and vote in this upcoming election. Thank you.
My name is Lamont Hayes, and I approve this message.